Good afternoon. If your grandma were diagnosed with Alzheimer's, wouldn't you want to do all you could to save her from the disease? Embryonic stem cell research is said to be the answer for this and many other currently incurable diseases. All that's involved is taking cells harvested from human embryos, cells which have the potential to repair any body tissue. Sounds like a miracle, no? But wait a moment. There are enough serious issues with embryonic stem cell research that I could spend a good hour outlining them for you. I could talk on about the fact that embryonic stem cells cause tumors in the animals upon which they're tested. I could go on and on about the high rejection rate of implanted cells. Or I could mention how there are still no treatments based on using embryonic stem cells, though researchers have been studying them and trialing them for years. No, these are all significant hitches in the development of treatments using embryonic stem cells. They're only symptoms of the true problem, namely that this research, by its very nature, results in the slaughter of humans at the very beginnings of their existence. But since this is a rather harsh thing to say, let me back it up with some facts. First, let me review with you what an embryo truly is. When a sperm cell and an ovum unite, the result is a single cell. This cell, the embryo, has its own unique sequence of DNA, with half of its DNA taken from the father and half taken from the mother. As soon as the embryo is created, it begins to undergo mitosis, which is just a quick way of saying that it begins to divide and grow. Because the embryo has a unique set of DNA, it is not merely an outgrowth of the mother's fallopian tubes. And because it can and does grow, it is a living thing. However, is this thing a human? Many proponents of embryonic stem cell research say that it is not. Rather, that it is merely a potential human. This categorization of embryos is wishful thinking at best and blatant dishonesty at worst. The proponents of embryonic stem cell research state that the embryo, due to its lack of development, has only the potential to become a human and is no more human than, say, a blood cell. Though this sounds credible at first, there's a significant philosophical problem with this argument. Simply speaking, can anything biologically become something else? In other words, can a human ever become not a human? Or more specifically, can something that isn't human ever become something that is human? If the embryo is not human, then it will never be human. For there's no significant change that occurs along its development to a fetus. The only true difference is that there are more cells. The DNA always remains the same. This difference is a difference in quantity of cells rather than in the human itself, a difference in quantity rather than quality, or, in philosophical terms, a difference in accidents rather than substance. Thus, the embryo cannot logically be not a human. If they are not human, then neither are we. So, how does this apply to embryonic stem cell research? Here's the process at its most basic. Scientists in a lab take a sperm cell and an ovum and put them together, creating an embryo unnaturally. They then grow it in a culture for several days until it has divided many times. Once the embryo has split into enough cells, they extract the inner cell mass from the embryo, leaving only the outer shell of cells, which would normally grow to become the placenta and the amniotic sac. This inner cell mass that they extract is the human. It is the fetus. It would normally grow to become the fetus or the baby. Thus, by extracting this inner cell mass, the baby, scientists are directly killing it to harvest its cells. Countless innocent lives have been ended so prematurely in this way, in the names of science, progress, and, most ironically, the saving of human lives. So what this all comes down to is that embryonic stem cell research results in the murdering of the embryos being researched upon. What perhaps makes this tragedy even deeper is that many of the supporters have only the best of intentions for advocating this research. What these poor, misguided people need to be shown is that no human's health is important enough to justify killing other humans to save it. Robbing Peter to pay Paul can never be justified, especially when Peter pays with his life. Thank you.